The fork pauses halfway to his mouth. Not because of fear, not because of surprise, because the sound cuts through the room at the wrong angle. Laughter, loud, careless, slightly drunk, followed by a voice that doesn't belong where it's echoing. A voice trying too hard to own the space. The kind of voice that assumes the room will agree before it listens. Mike Tyson sits alone at a small table near the back of the restaurant. Shoulders relaxed, posture compact. Late evening, Los Angeles, early 2000s. A quiet place chosen precisely because it doesn't invite attention. Low ceilings, soft amber lighting, the muted clink of silverware against ceramic plates. Conversations kept deliberately low, as if everyone has agreed not to bring their public selves inside. Tyson isn't dressed to be recognized. Dark jacket, plain shirt, no entourage, crowding the table, just a plate in front of him. Steam still rising. The smell of grilled meat and oil hanging in the air. He had been eating slowly, methodically, until the voice rises again. You know what I'm saying? The man says, louder now. People act like he's still that guy. A pause, then laughter sharper this time. Tyson doesn't look up. The fork stays suspended for a second longer than necessary. Then he lowers it gently back to the plate. No clatter, no irritation visible, just control. The voice belongs to a boxer, latchy 20s, maybe early 30s. Big frame, broad shoulders straining against a fitted shirt. The kind of physique that looks better standing than sitting. He's seated at a long table a few yards away, surrounded by friends and a couple of trainers. Drinks in front of him, plates pushed aside. The boxer isn't whispering. He wants to be heard. Different generation. He continues, today's fighters would eat him alive. A few heads turn. Some faces tighten. Others look down at their plates, suddenly interested in food. No one laughs this time. The room adjusts, subtly. Like a breath being held, Tyson finally lifts his eyes. Not toward the man, toward the reflection in the window beside him. He registers the scene without turning his head. The angles, the distance, the exits, old habits never abandoned. He exhales through his nose. 6 seconds. That's all the room has left before something changes. The boxer notices the shift before he understands it. He sees the way the laughter dies, the way shoulders turn inward. He senses attention drifting away from him and towards something he can't yet see. What? He says, half smiling. I'm just being honest. One of his trainers leans closer, murmuring something low. A warning. Maybe. The boxer waves it off with the back of his hand. It's respect, he adds, louder still. But facts are facts. That's when Tyson turns. Not abruptly. Not dramatically. He rotates slowly in his chair, just enough to bring the boxer into his line of sight. His expression is neutral. Eyes calm. Face unreadable. The boxer freezes for half a beat. Recognition hits him late. Too late to take the words back. Too late to soften them. Tyson studies him the way he used to study opponents in the ring, not emotionally, not personally, structurally. He notices the man's height, his reach, the tension in his neck, the slight imbalance in how he's sitting, weight shifted forward, chest open, eager. Tyson pushes his chair back gently and stands. The scrape of wood against tile is quiet, but in the silence it sounds louder than it should. Every fork stop is moving. Every conversation collapses into fragments. Tyson doesn't hurry. He takes one step, then another. The distance between the tables shrinks. The boxer straightens instinctively, rising halfway from his chair before stopping himself. He laughs. One's short and uncertain. He says. No problem, champ. Tyson stops 2 steps away from the table. Close enough that his presence fills the boxer's peripheral vision. Sit, Tyson says. It isn't a command dressed as politeness. Iti, fiza. Raised, it's flat, certain. The boxer hesitates, then sits back down. His friends exchange quick glances, suddenly unsure whether they're witnesses or liabilities. Tyson's hands hang loose at his sides. His shoulders stay low. No tension visible. You talking about me? Tyson asks. The boxer swallows. Just conversation, he says. Nothing serious? Tyson nods once, as if acknowledging the answer. You eat yet? Tyson asks. The question lands wrong. Confusing off-pattern. The boxer blinks. Yeah, he says. Why? Tyson tilts his head slightly. Then chew slower, he says. You talk too much when you're full. A couple of people nearby inhale sharply. Not laughter, not shock, awareness. The boxer's jaw tightens. Pride surfaces. He straightens in his chair, pushing his chest forward. Look, he says, I wasn't trying to disrespect you. Tyson's eyes don't leave his... Then don't, he replies. Silence settles again. Heavy now, pressurized. The boxer feels the eyes on him. Feels the room leaning away. He wants to reclaim ground. Wants to prove he belongs in the moment he created. You're not fighting anymore, he says. Quieter, but sharper. That's all I meant. Tyson doesn't react immediately. He takes one small step closer. Close enough now that the boxer has to tilt his head up to maintain eye contact. Close enough to smell cologne, alcohol, food. Neither are you, Tyson says. Right now, the words are simple. They carry weight, not because of threat, but because of truth. The boxer shifts in his seat. His knee bumps the table leg. Glasses rattle softly. Relax, he says. We're in public. Tyson nods. So, act like it, he says. The boxer exhales sharply through his nose. Frustration creeping in. You think I'm scared of you? He asks. That's the mistake. Tyson steps in. Not fast. Not slow. Just inside the space where movement becomes unavoidable. The boxer's instincts kick in late. He starts to rise, pushing off the table with one hand. Tyson's left hand moves a short motion. Compact. No wind-up. A palm strike to the chest. It isn't thrown with rage. It's placed. The impact drives the air out of the boxer's lungs in a sudden, humiliating burst. His back slams into the chair. The chair tips. He stumbles sideways, knocking into the man next to him. Plates clattering to the floor. Gasps ripple through the room. Before the boxer can recover his breath, Tyson steps through the space again. His shoulder turns. His right hand snaps upward, a tight, controlled uppercut that stops inches short of full extension. It connects under the chin, not hard enough to knock him out, hard enough to take everything else away. The boxer collapses back into the chair, eyes unfocused, hands scrambling for the table edge. His legs shake. His mouth opens, but no sound comes out. 6 seconds. That's all it took. The restaurant goes completely still. Someone near the entrance stands halfway out of their seat, then freezes. A waiter stops mid-step tray, trembling slightly in his hands. Tyson steps back. He doesn't loom. He doesn't watch the boxer fall apart. He gives him space, the kind of space that feels worse than pressure. The boxer coughs, finally pulling air back into his lungs. His face burns red. His eyes water. He nods weakly, not looking up. Tyson looks down at him once. Eat, he says, and keep quiet. He turns away. No one stops him. No one speaks. The hierarchy in the room has rearranged itself without discussion. Tyson returns to his table, sits, and picks up his fork. The food is still warm. He resumes eating as if nothing has happened. Around him, the restaurant remains suspended in silence. Every person aware that they've just witnessed something brief, contained, and irreversible. Not violence for spectacle. Correction, Tyson's fork moves again with the same pace it had before the voice rose. Cut, lift, chew, a calm rhythm that makes the rest of the room feel unsteady by comparison. The plate shifts slightly under the pressure of the utensil. He doesn't rush. He doesn't glance around to gauge reactions. He doesn't need to. Across the restaurant, the boxer is still seated, but he isn't present the way he was. His shoulders have dropped. His chest rises in shallow pulls as he tries to recover breath without drawing more attention. One hand grips the edge of the table, as if it's anchoring him to something stable. His friends sit rigid, eyes forward, pretending they didn't just watch their night collapse into a quiet lesson. A waiter kneels to gather broken ceramic from the floor. He does it carefully, like handling glass. The clink of pieces being stacked on a tray is the only sound anyone allows themselves. The manager appears from the back. Middle-aged suit jacket, practiced, calm. He approaches with the posture of someone who has handled chaos before, but not this kind. He stops at a respectful distance from Tyson's table. Not too close, not too far. His hands remain visible. "Sir, the manager," says quietly. Tyson doesn't look up immediately. He finishes chewing, sets the fork down, wipes his mouth with a napkin. Only then does he raise his eyes. The manager's face is polite, but his eyes carry calculation, liability, witnesses, police, headlines. "Is everything all right?" the manager asks. Tyson nods once. "Yeah," he says. "Food's good." The manager hesitates, glancing subtly toward the other table. The boxer is hunched now, eyes down, still not fully recovered. His trainer is speaking to him in low tones, the way you speak to someone who has just learned a hard limit. Tyson follows the manager's glance, then returns his eyes to the man's face. "He'll be quiet," Tyson says. "It's not a promise. It is the conclusion." The manager swallows and nods. He knows better than to press. The situation, for all its seriousness, has ended. There is no ongoing struggle to manage, only aftermath to contain. "Of course," he says. "If you need anything," Tyson gives a small shake of his head. "I'm eating," he replies. The manager retreats. Not hurried, but careful. He goes back to the kitchen and says nothing that will inflame the room. The staff resumes movement in slow, respectful increments, as if the air itself might crack if disturbed too suddenly. At the other table, the boxer finally lifts his head. His eyes find Tyson across the space. The look he gives isn't hatred. It isn't anger. It's disbelief mixed with the beginning of understanding. He tries to speak again, not loudly, just to his trainer. He starts. His trainer cuts him off. "Stop," trainer murmurs, low and firm. "You got your answer." The boxer's jaw tightens. Humiliation flushes across his face. He was used to being the loudest man in the room, used to laughter arriving on schedule, used to attention obeying him. Now, attention avoids him. One of his friends, a man who had laughed earlier, clears his throat and pushes his chair back slightly, creating a few inches of distance. Not to abandon him, but to avoid sharing the heat. The boxer notices. His eyes flicker with resentment. He isn't just embarrassed. He's isolated. Tyson takes another bite. The calmness is not performative. It's the calmness of someone who has lived inside tension long enough to stop decorating it. For him, the confrontation was not a scene. It was an adjustment. A correction applied quickly to prevent something uglier. Around the restaurant, conversations return in fragments. Paul begin. Speaking again, softly at first, testing whether it's safe. The voices do not rise. No one laughs too loudly. No one makes eye contact across the gap. The memory is still warm. At the boxer's table, the trainer leans in again. His voice is almost inaudible. "You think this is about who hits harder?" He says, "It's not. It's about timing, awareness. You don't get to choose when you become a story." The boxer stares at the tablecloth. His breathing steadies. He swallows and rubs his jaw, feeling the dull ache that will linger long after the night ends. Not injury that will be written up in any medical report, something subtler, a mark on his certainty. He glances toward the crowd. He sees faces that were friendly 5 minutes ago now watching him with a quiet distance. They don't look impressed by him. They look reminded by Tyson. He lowers his gaze again. In the early 2000s, men like him were being marketed differently. The new wave, the athletic era, bigger frames, sharper bodies, loud confidence that played well in interviews. The idea that the past was just highlight reels and legends inflated by nostalgia. But the past isn't only film. It's habits, it's presence. It's the kind of economy and movement that doesn't require permission from the room. The boxer pushes his plate away. He wipes his mouth with a napkin he doesn't need, just to have something to do with his hands. He looks at his friends. "Let's go," he says, trying to sound normal. "No," Juan argues. Chairs, scrape coats are grabbed. Money is left on the table without calculation, as if paying quickly might erase what happened. They stand, and for a second, the boxer hesitates, realizing they have to pass near Tyson's table to reach the exit. The trainer sees it and steps ahead, creating a path. They walk. As they pass, the boxer tries to keep his eyes forward. He tries to pretend Tyson isn't there, that it's a coincidence, an accident, a misunderstanding. But Tyson looks up at the exact moment there beside him, not with anger, with nothing at all. The boxer's throat tightens. He nods, a reflexive gesture that carries more weight than any words he spoke earlier. His lips part as if to apologize, but he stops. He knows an apology now would be for the audience, not for truth. He keeps walking. When the door closes behind them, the restaurant exhales collectively. Not relief, not celebration. Release. Tyson returns his attention to the plate. He eats a few more bites, then sets the fork down and rests his hands lightly on the table, fingertips touching the wood. He stares for a moment at nothing, not reflecting on violence, not savoring dominance, processing the simple fact that rooms are always testing boundaries and that some men mistake silence for weakness. A waiter approaches, cautious but composed now. "Would you like anything else, sir?" he asks. Tyson shakes his head. "Check," he says. The waiter nods and retreats. Tyson pays without ceremony. He stunges, adjusts his jacket, and leaves the restaurant the way he entered, quietly, without looking for eyes to follow him. Outside, the night air is cooler. The street is alive with the distant hum of traffic and neon. Vegas or Los Angeles, it doesn't matter. The world keeps moving. The headlines don't get written. The moment stays confined to the people who witnessed it. And for the boxer who walked out, swallowing his pride, the lesson won't be about losing a fight. It will be about the thing he didn't understand until it was too late. Some men don't need to raise their voice to take control of a room. They only need 6 seconds to remind you that respect isn't a performance. It's awareness.